Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are healthy and safe. May God bless you. And now I would like to proceed to the science video part 2, where I'm going to show you more pictures and details about our lesson which I had already explained on the whiteboard. The lesson's name is Plants and Animals Around the School. Please open your textbook, page number 48, 49. And also keep your rough copy and pencil in handy. While I had explained to you in my previous video, if you have any clarifications and doubts or any questions, please you can mail me back or any of your teachers, your class teachers, and they will definitely get back to you with any kind of clarifications on the lesson. Okay, so let's move and let's proceed, and let me show you some more pictures on the habitat. So please open your textbook, page 48, 49. I hope you're ready. Here we go. Like I had explained to you in my previous lesson, or on the previous day, I had explained to you that we can find plants and animals almost everywhere we go. Yes? Do we find them? Do we find plants and animals everywhere? That's correct. But yes, where can we find them? Can you answer? Okay. Now let's move to the next slide. We can find plants and animals on land. That would be deserts, mountains, or our surroundings. Our surroundings means the place we live. For example, our house, or near our school, near the garden, or near the Corniche. Next, in water. We can also find plants and animals in water. For example, water areas would be oceans, seas, rivers, lakes, ponds. Okay? So, we find plants and animals on land and in water. Moving on, water, we find plants and animals in water. Like if I have to show you a picture of oceans and seas, you can see this deep sea animals and plants, which you can find it in oceans and also by the seashore. In the first picture, you can see a sea turtle with some beautiful corals and reefs. And here is a dolphin, an octopus, and some sea grass. You can see some tiny fishes here swimming around under the ocean. Okay. We also find plants and animals in rivers, lakes, and ponds. If you can see this picture, you can see the pond fish, frogs, which you can also find it in rivers and lakes, ducks and duck and ducklings, which also you can find them near the lakes and ponds. You can have a close look, and if you have any questions, you can write it down. So by the end of the lesson, you can ask us these questions. You can mail us back with the questions. Now, moving on to the plants and animals which we find on land, I'm showing you one of the habitats in land, that would be a desert area. Now, this desert area is hot and dry. The deserts are usually hot and dry. And in the winter, the deserts are very cold. So you can see the camel and cactus. These are the plant and animals which you can find in the desert. And also we find some birds and insects. Most of the time you can see them flying or fluttering around in the air. For example, butterflies, as you can see in the first picture, or birds. You can also see birds flying most of the time, like sparrows. We usually see sparrows in towns and cities. So why do they live? Now, for example, if you see certain plants and animals staying in their own habitats, why do you think a camel would want to stay in a desert, or a duck would stay near the waterside, by the waterside? Because they need these basic needs. These are their basic needs for survival. Okay, so these are the basic things like which helps them to live in their place. For example, animals, they need food, water and shelter. And plants, they need mostly soil, light and water. So the basic needs for animals and plants are these. If they find this, and they are, whichever place they are in, basically they are looking for these things: food, water, shelter, that is for animals, and plants would need soil, light and water for survival. Survival means to live. Okay, next. So we already know, in the previous video I have explained to you what is habitat, and again let me repeat it for you. A habitat is a place where plants and animals live. What is a habitat? Repeat after me. A habitat is a place where plants and animals live. Very good. So now we know what is a habitat. Now let's move on to the plant habitat. Now, as you know, we have been studying the two important living things habitat. Number 1, plant habitat, and number 2, animal habitat. So let's go to number 1. First, let's study the plant habitat, and then we will move to the animal habitat. Now, in the plant habitat, you can see the grass. The plants where they grow and live is their habitat. So the plants where they grow is their habitat. Let's see some small plants and habitats in the below pictures. For example, you can see grass on a lawn. This is the grass, the small plant, grass on a lawn. And you can also see plants growing on walls, tiny plants growing on walls. So these are their habitats. You can also find plants growing on the trunks of the trees. Can you see this? These are the trunks of the trees. You can see tiny plants growing on the trunks of the trees. And on the next picture, you can see a concrete where there are cracks in the concrete which is made by the man, and this is the tiny plant grown near the cracks in the concrete. The concrete is made so that we humans can easily walk. Concrete is made so we can easily walk, or the vehicles can drive easily on the roads. Next, we move on to the animal habitat. The place where animals live for their food and shelter is their habitat. For example, a monkey in a banana tree, a school of fish in the sea, a tiger in the jungle, a spider and a ladybug on a wall. So, if you can see a monkey, its habitat is a banana tree. A school of fish, you don't say fishes, you say a school of fish. A school of fish is a plural form of fish, more than one fish. A group of fish. A school of fish would be living in the sea. A tiger would be living in the jungle. A spider and a ladybug on walls. That's their habitats. Now, as you know these habitats, you must be also knowing some names of few more animals. Can you name some animals? Very good. Dog, cat. Maybe these are some examples you must have given, right? Am I right? Camels, right? So we already know this daily animals which we have been seeing, we have been watching them. We have been, these are the local animals. But today we are also going to learn some small animals. We are going to learn some new animals which we haven't heard of. Most of them must have not heard about them. But I have already explained this on the board on my previous video. But I will show you the pictures. I had told you that I will show you pictures. So here they are. Okay. So you can see these are the small animals. For example, snail, slug, woodlice. So you see these three animals. I'll just keep this video for some time so you can have a look. Okay. Can you see the picture snail? Can you see the snail? Can you show the snail? Very good. Can you see a slug? Can you show it? Very good. And a woodlice. Woodlice. There are a lot of woodlices on the trunk of a tree. Very good. It's on a log. A log is when the trees are cut, they become logs. They must be on the ground, and then we humans use it for our own purposes to make furnitures, etc. So you can see the animals we learnt. We had already learnt about it. Snail, slug, woodlice. Okay. So these are small animals. Their habitat is they live under stones, logs, rotting leaves, the leaves which are already fallen from the trees or plants and they are about to decay. So they are called rotten leaves, okay, which are already going to be mixed with the soil. So these are called rotten leaves. So they all survive on this kind of habitat. I hope you understood, and I hope you have seen and understood these are the small animals which we were talking about. So the next topic is earthworms. Can you see this earthworm? Can you see this picture? Okay. So these are earthworms. So if you dig more in a soil, you can find these worms. If you dig deep. So earthworms, they live in soil. They also eat rotting leaves. And can you see their habitat? It's dark, right? Can you see It's too damp. Damp means wet. So you can see that the soil is wet here and it's also dark. Okay, so they usually when the more you dig the soil, you will find the earthworms. So they prefer to stay in a dark and wet or moist places. Okay. Next is moles. Moles, as I told you, they live in large holes. They make large holes in the soil and they love to eat earthworms. They like to eat earthworms. Okay, so they don't just like to eat, they have to eat. That's their food. Their staple food is earthworms. Okay, so these are also one of a kind of animals, moles. These are called moles. This is a mole which is eating an earthworm, and they live in large holes under the soil. Now I would want you to answer the following questions. Take your time. Let me ask you the first question. What is a habitat? I repeat, what is a habitat? Very good. The place where plants and animals live is called a habitat. Question number 2. Name few places where we find small plants habitat. Any few places which you must have seen now in this video. Very good. You can find some small plants on the lawns in the form of grass, or you can find some tiny plants on the walls or in the concrete, in the cracks of the concrete, or on the trunks of the trees. Very good. Next, name few small animals we learned today and their habitat. Question number 3. Name few small animals we learned today and their habitat. Here you go. So the answer is the small animals can be snail, a slug, or woodlice, which live under stones, logs, or rotting leaves. Very good. Next, I want you to try this out by yourself. Okay? You can take your time, think about it, and answer it. Maybe you might not find these answers in the textbook, but I would love to see how you think or hear from you. Question number 1. If there was no habitat, would living things survive in this world? Question number 2. Which is your favorite habitat? And why would you like to live there? Question number 3. If you have a beautiful garden, which plants would you like to take care? And which pets would you like to take care? You can write down these answers in your rough copy, or you can email me back with your answers, and I would love to hear from you. You can send it back to your class teachers on the school ID and we are here, we are waiting for your feedback and your answers. I hope you have understood today's lesson. Try it out. And here we end our lesson of plants and animals in the local environment or around the schools. So take good care and stay safe. Please don't forget that the wildlife and its habitat cannot speak. That means the plants and animals, they cannot speak for themselves. So, as a responsible citizen of this world, as human beings, we should take care of them, we should love them, we must and we will. Thank you so much, and I hope you have paid attention to the class. Take care.